This is my recipe that I like to use for pita bread. I like this recipe because it's pretty simple. Just a few ingredients. I think less is more. The wetness in the dough is actually what helps create the steam when you're baking it in the brick oven. And what you're going to do is knead this dough for approximately 10 minutes. You want it to become smooth and kind of an elastic type of feel to it. And it's just going to take some time to get it to that point. Little bit of flour at a time. Now it's definitely feeling smoother. This is how I want the dough to be. It has just a smooth feel to it, and it's sticking to my fingers a little bit, but I can still pull my fingers away. That's what you want. This is the fun part. You get to punch the dough down. Get the air out of it. And then I like to turn it into a little log shape. And then I'm going to cut it into 8 even pieces. And now what I'm going to do is just start rolling it into a ball. And I'm not pushing down real hard. I'm using my fingers and I'm kind of pushing it at the bottom, and I'm dragging my fingers across the countertop. And let's check the bottom. There's a little indentation. I don't want that there, so I'm going to roll it just a little bit more to get rid of that. All right, that looks really good. Now I'm just going to set it on a tray. And the next step is to roll them out into discs. I'm just going to use this is what I use, a little rolling pin. So this is a smooth dough. It has a very smooth feel, and it's elasticy, and it's easy to roll out. And what you want to do is just roll it out into a disc shape, and it's going to be 6 to 8 inches is what you're looking for, and you don't want it to be more than 1/4 inch thick. And then what I do is just pick it up and set it on one of my wood paddles, and I'm just going to keep it covered and add some more to it, and it's going to sit for about 30 minutes until it gets a little bit fluffy, and then it's going to be ready to go in the brick oven. We're going to check the dough now, our discs. And now you see they have a little bit of a poofiness to them. They've risen just a little bit, and that's what you want to see when you're ready to cook them. So they're real light and poofy. It's going to help with the rising and creating a steam pocket. So let's go out and cook them now. So if you aren't quite ready to go ahead and cook your pita bread, what you can do is just take the dough once it has risen once, and then just punch it down, put it into an airtight container, put it in the fridge, and you can keep this up to a week. I'm going to prep the oven now for cooking our pita bread. I'm going to sweep all the coals to the back. I'm going to go ahead and clean the brick off that I'm going to be cooking on, and I use a damp towel, and just put it on to my paddle, and I use this to swap the brick oven out in the area where I'm going to be cooking. Here's my pita bread that I made. I like to use some coconut flour on the bottom. It helps it not to stick, plus the coconut flour gives it a sweeter taste than the other flours I've used. If it starts to get too hot, I move my pita bread more toward the front because I don't want it too charred. If it's not quite hot enough, I just have that nice option of moving it back farther into the oven. Let's put our first piece of pita into the fire. So what I like to do is put in the oven, give it just maybe about 15-20 seconds, and then I'm going to flip it over. That gives me a little bit of a char on what will be the top of the pita. See a little bit of a bubble forming in it, and then all at once it should just puff. As soon as it puffs up, you got to get it out of the oven unless you want it to be a little dry. So I like to cover these with a towel. This keeps the warmth in and also keeps them more moist, keeps them from drying out.